Good morning, good morning. How we doing? Margaretta Cameron, I like it with a smile. Good morning, good morning. How we doing?
Great.
Margaretta Cameron, I like it with a smile. Good morning, good morning. How we doing?
Great.
Oh, we're getting a little Margaretta Cameron, getting a little I like echo it with here, a smile. Good morning, good morning. How we doing?
Great.
She has some music in the background.
We're getting a little Margaretta Cameron, getting a little I like echo it with here, a smile. Good. Why are we getting that? How we doing?
Great.
She has some music in the background.
We're getting a little.
Did I break the system?
I'm back. You guys can hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
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 No echo. That was weird.
No
I'm
echo.
back. You guys can hear me? There it is again. What is it picking up? What is it picking up? What did we do different today? My settings are all the same. Picking up. What did we do different today? My settings are all the same. Picking up. I figured it out. All right. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes,
And-
yes.
And
yes.
thanks for that. I appreciate that. Well, sorry about the little technical difficulty. I do know why that happened, and hopefully we can prevent that from happening again here. Anybody got something good to share with us this morning? We're that excited, huh? It's one of those days.
Woo!
I did. In an effort to break the silence of the sharing of the good vibes, I was just doing a little bit of research, and we may take this road moving forward of good positivity that's just out in the world in general. And there was a story about a habitat build, and if you haven't done habitat before, I would highly encourage you to do a day. There are some week-long builds that you can do out there. I spent one of my spring breaks, actually. We built an entire house in 1 week, one of the best experiences of my life. You literally get there, they've got licensed contractors, framers, roofers, electricians, plumbers, and you literally build a house in a week. We built an entire street in that week because you had like one college. There's probably 3 colleges per house. So we built an entire neighborhood in a week. So if you've never done something like this, the story that popped up yesterday was a build that was going on. It was like in Detroit, and it was like, I don't even know what degree out. And they were supposed to cancel, and everybody kind of rallied and said, we don't care how cold it's going to be. We're building this house. And those are some of the best bonding moments that I've ever had when you get together with a group of people that you don't normally hang out with, and at the end of a week, you've got a piece of real estate that's sitting there. So just a quick one in the chat if you've ever done one of these habitat builds. I'm just curious. Maybe we get a share around some habitat. Anybody want to share an experience? Who's done it? We've got no habitat builders. Margaret, I see your hand up. Did you have something else that you were going to comment on?
Yeah, I'm actually very excited because I'm working with stagers for one of my listings, and I guess I wanted to ask the group too, like how that experience is with them. Who pays for staging? Does an agent pay for it? I know it seems like sometimes both people do it. I mean, I just think it's such a cool thing. I haven't really staged on this scale property, and it's just really cool to have that kind of support from others, and I'm really excited about it. So
Yeah, just quick take from my perspective on the staging. I think it's going to depend on the clients, whether it's going to be you paying for it or them paying for it, and what kind of a commitment do we have out of the clients, right? If we know that the why is strong, we've got a really good aggressive timeline. We know that they are committed, right? We're in agreement on the pricing. Then maybe it's something, you're getting the commission that you want, right? Then maybe it's something that you're going to pay for. If all of those things aren't in alignment, or a couple of those things aren't in alignment, then maybe it's a discussion. Maybe you're chipping in for 50% of it. Maybe you're just making the suggestion. You're connecting them with your resource that can do it, right? So does anybody else want to kind of chime in on the staging and who's paying and how you've done it in the past?
I can't raise my hand. My hands are covered in butter, but I'm trying to make my kids some toast before I leave. But so I used to work with a stager, and she did something really cool. And I don't know if other stagers do it. Her name was Sandy Lanigan, and she's local. But she used to do something really cool where I would literally just have a conversation with the seller and say, hey, I think that we could really benefit from staging in this property. I'd love to bring in a professional stager and have her sit down and kind of explain how some minor changes might be able to help us get a little bit more money. I'd love to bring in so I'm echoing. Am I echoing for you? And have her sit down and kind of explain how some minor changes might be able to help us get a little bit more money.
Do you have speakers on, KB, or something?
No, I'm just on my phone.
I'm not sure why we're having the echo issues today.
KB or something. No, I'm just on my phone.
We're having the echo issues today. KB or something.
No, I'm just on my phone.
Here we go.
We're having echo issues today. TV or something. No, I'm just on my phone.
You guys can hear me fine? Yeah, I don't know what is going on today with the echo. I solved it on my side, but I don't know if somebody maybe somebody wasn't muted on the call.
That's what I'm
I
thinking.
apologize.
I
Yeah,
can try
KB,
again.
let's try it again.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. So anyway, I would bring her in and she would sit down with the client and we would walk through the house and she would give them options, right? Like it would be like $75 for her to come in, do this consultation. And then she would give them options to be like, okay, these are the things that I would recommend you could do to the house to kind of step it up a little bit, right? Like she would actually give them paint color suggestions. She would give them like little minor tips and tricks that they could do. And they paid for a consultation for a professional to come in and tell them really what they could do with the property that could potentially bring in a little more money. And then on her other paper, she would break down a whole spreadsheet on what she could do for them, right? So if they decided to hire her, she would be able to put furniture in this room, stage the kitchen, do X, Y, Z, whatever. And then the decision was really up to the client. In that situation, most of the time, the client would pick to do the little things. Every now and then, I've had a couple that said, yeah, we're going to have her come in and do the full staging. And again, depending on how much I was making on the transaction, I would then decide, if I was going to just allow the client to pay for it. Because when they sit down and they meet her, the expectation is that they're paying for it because they're interviewing her to hire her. Right. But it's nice for me to be able to say, listen, I have no issue with splitting this with you. So I think it really just depends on how much, but I also think that if you're working with a good stager that understands that not every client's going to need a full stage of the property, that, there are definitely options and different ways to go about it.
Awesome. Yeah, guys, I think it's just a mute issue on Zoom. Please keep your microphone muted if you're not the speaker. Anybody else want to chime in on the staging?
Anything on the price point? Like, I mean, I know it depends how many rooms they stage, but like, let's say if you do the, like what was the price points that you've done, I guess, if any feedback on that?
I mean, for me, this was like years ago. I haven't been in production for a while, but it was definitely priced by room and also depending on how long you're going to be leaving the furniture or the items in the property. So, like if you were to leave them in there through inspections, it would be one price for time. And then if you were to leave that in there, through appraisal, which I typically recommend doing, then it would be another price, but it can range. It definitely depends if they're bringing in couches, if they're bringing in beds, like what are they bringing in? So I think that it varies, because some stagers own their own staging, like inventory, and then others don't. They're going to rent it from places. So there's a lot of variables in there, Margareta. My recommendation would be to have a conversation with a few different local stagers and just kind of pick their brains a little bit on what their fees are.
Adam, are you in a position to chat? I know you're doing a lot of staging on your flips. Maybe just kind of speak
Yeah.
to the rooms. If you only had one room to do, which room would it be? And then kind of on and on, because I know you're not staging the entire house.
Yeah, we stage every single property without a question. 100 times out of 100, the property ends up looking better. Obviously, a little bit easier with a vacant house. So I think, Margareta, you might have been, I don't know if you're asking about price points of the house and when you bring in staging versus actual costs of staging, but I'll just comment on the cost. So I have made the one-time investment for, a bunch of photos, like murals you hang on the wall, all the kitchen and bath stuff. So in the Agawam office, I just have a room full of tchotchkes. And then for the furniture itself, I bring it in from Rent-A-Center. So it's usually about $150 per room per month. So like a bedroom set is going to be a bed, a mattress, one nightstand, a dresser and a mirror. A dining room set's going to be, a full dining room set. And then a living room set is typically going to be a couch, a love seat, and then like end tables and sorry, the lawnmower being really loud. So it usually ends up being about $450 to $500 a month, and there's no delivery charge with Rent-A-Center. And then when you call them to come pick it up, they pick it up for free too. So that's what I do. So I always stage one bedroom, the primary bedroom. I stage the living room, and I stage the dining room, if there is one. And then, of course, we always do the kitchens and baths. And then 9 times out of 10, I'll stage one of the empty bedrooms as a home office, because it just costs me the one-time, cost of a desk, a chair, and some tchotchkes that would typically belong in an office. So Chris Kibbe's right. You definitely want to keep the staging up through appraisal, because you want to sell the house to the bank, which is the appraiser, right? So definitely keep it up through then. Even if it costs another $500, definitely do not, advise your client not to do that. And if you have any investor clients, I don't do this anymore because I got enough information, but what I would do is I would bring the stager in early in the project, and she would say, hey, like a typical example would be some of these 60s and 70s houses, there's usually a scalloped piece of wood between the two cabinets that go over the sink, and she's just like, knock that out, square it off, make sure that it just takes it out of the 70s. At that time, she was telling me to take away anything that looked, any light bulb fixtures that looked like a Cinderella dress, kind of like the, I don't know what you call it, but obviously the new style is like cylinders. So she was really good at telling me kind of what to take out, what to remove. Definitely gave me paint color recommendations. I do sea salt in every room now, which is like a blue-green color. Everyone loves that. It pops with white, and it also works with brown trim. So yeah, I mean, I could talk forever about staging, but I would recommend it. The only thing I would be careful of, and I lost a listing over this, and I remember specifically I called her back and I said, hey, why'd you go with the other agent? And she said, well, the other agent told me I didn't have to take down the wallpaper, right? So I have to look back at that and say the way I delivered that message was not, you will likely get more money if you take down the wallpaper, but we can sell it as is. So when you're talking about the staging, the last thing you want to do is overwhelm the seller and say, well, you got to paint this room, we got to stage all 3 rooms, you got to get this place cleaned out. They're going to be overwhelmed. So just make sure the client says, how can I get the most amount of money for my house? I'm willing to put some money into it. That's when you want to bring up the conversation of staging.
Anybody have any follow-up questions on staging? Want to add any commentary, questions for Adam? All right. And obviously, if you can't get it done with the actual staging, talk to your media company and look at the virtual staging options. At least if we can get it virtually staged, get the photos looking good. Remember, our initial goal is we got to get people to leave that computer screen, leave their phone screen, and actually go and take a look at the property. So it's not obviously as good, but worst case, if you can get your clients to spend a few $100s and get them virtually staged, you're in a better position than not. All right, let's change gears. Anybody else have something going on a real estate deal? Did you learn something yesterday? Did you take a training? Are you stuck somewhere on one of your deals? I'll just throw this out there. For you realtors out there, the NAR just kind of put out their new 2025 guide. So I'm sharing that on the screen now. And there's some interesting benefits in there. There's a lot of little discounts on a lot of the designations and stuff like that. But as you flip through the book, let me get that off of my screen. As you flip through the book, some good little discounts, some insurance and financing discounts. There's some business and marketing, so there's some discounts on shipping and FedEx and copying. There are some good discounts on travel and auto. Most Avis, Budget, Hertz, all have little travel discounts for you guys. So if you've never looked at this, I know a lot of people complain about the dues. This is a great resource. So flip through this thing and just see if there's some savings that you might be able to get just on stuff that you're already spending money on. It looks like they've got anybody that's using the Sentry Lock, they've got a discount there. So a bunch of different discounts that you guys can take advantage of. I don't know if anybody wants to speak up. Is anybody a fan of a discount in particular? Hey, I use this NAR discount all the time. Anything like that you might want to raise your hand and speak up about? Do we even realize that we have these benefits? Take a look. There are some really, really good savings in there. While we are on the topic, how many people are using RPR for your market analysis? Just raise a hands. And just so you guys know, to raise your hand, you got to use the reactions in Zoom. Okay, a few of you guys are using RPR. Anybody else want to speak up? What are you using for CMAs? What other tools are we using for CMAs out there? What are we liking? Are we just using the MLS? The MLS has got some tools. Yep, a few people just using MLS. Well, if you haven't used RPR, let me get this up on the screen for you guys. I'm going to play a little video here. It's only a minute and a half. You guys got to check this thing out. They've made a lot of improvements to their product. And I definitely think the mobile app is pretty sweet. I downloaded it. I tried that as well. So let's take a look at this, and then I'll kind of give you some commentary around what they're doing with this new beta feature.
RPR's next generation reports offer a lot of exciting features. You can fully customize your report exactly how you want, but if you're in a rush, generating a report can be very quick. Let me show you how. Select Create Report from any property, or select Beta Report templates from the top navigation bar. Choose the beta template you want. If you went from the top navigation, you'll need to enter in your report location here, or just the report title if you were already viewing a property. Select Continue. Preview your report in the viewer. You can adjust your report using the side panel, uncheck or check elements, drag and drop sections, or follow prompts like Select Photos for further edits. If the preset selections look good, check your cover page to make sure your contact information is correct. You can add a personalized message if you'd like, then select Run Report. Save allows you to simply save and come back later. Copy link copies the dynamic link of the report that will update every 48 hours when accessed. Email will let you email that same dynamic link. Download lets you download a static PDF version of the report, and Share to Social gives you direct links to share your report to your social media accounts. That's it. Your report is ready to go.
So I tested this out, and it generates the reports in like 10, 15 seconds. And it's a great starting place for you guys. And then you can go in there, you can edit your comps, you can use this on the buy side. So it doesn't even have to be just for sellers. You can generate a buy side report when the buyer says, hey, what do you think the property's worth? Right? You might want to give some commentary of your own, but hey, you know what? Let me put together a quick market analysis for you. I'll show you some of the other recent properties that have sold. It's a good way to just get market statistics. And I may just play over the course of the next week some of the little individual snippets so you guys can see some of the little technical things that you can do. But the market reports are really good. Very quickly, you can get a report going on, days on market, average sales price. What type of market is it? Is it a buyer's market? Is it a seller's market? Right? So what's your months of inventory? I did a quick little check, and I did the greater Springfield area where I'm located, and we were under a month. And then I did Sarasota, Florida, where our Florida team is at, and we were, I think, at like 6 months of inventory. So that's the difference in those two markets. It's 5 months. So, and that was showing us kind of like a normal market down there in Florida. So as slow as it feels for you guys in Florida, that's actually a pretty even market. It hadn't actually moved over the threshold. More than 6 months of inventory is where you start to think of it as a buyer's market. So strong seller's market still here in the greater Springfield area, kind of like a middle of the road market, but maybe feeling like a really big buyer's market down in Florida as things have just been sitting a little bit longer. So anybody actively using like RPR on the regular, this is my go-to, that wants to maybe just talk about a feature that you're using or something that you love about it? Shaston, go ahead.
So I use it pretty regularly with both buyers and sellers just because I know the numbers are pretty quick if we're just looking at the data. And I kind of equate that to like a Zestimate when I'm talking to my clients because it's really looking at just the data points, bed, bath count, location, so on. But the quality, you can't compare to 1995 homes that are identical when one's been fully updated. So I love the feature where you can go in and actually compare the quality of the home that you're trying to comp out versus the ones that have recently sold. It's just like a sliding bar. We kind of talked about it on the listing call last week. And it's really nice because you can compare it, from your view too. So it's like a fine-tuned tool that I love having there because I use Cloud CMA when I'm really trying to get detailed. I know they took it off MLS, but I still use it on my own because I just really felt like it was as precise as I can get it. But I love that sliding bar tool that they have on RPR.
So, Sashton, just a follow-up for you. Maybe some of the key differences between RPR and Cloud CMA, because you seem to be pretty familiar with both. Why are you choosing, Cloud when you've got to get really detailed? What is it about Cloud that you're loving?
So Cloud CMA, I liked. The only thing I don't like is now that it's not through MLS. Before you can just kind of pull a search criteria through MLS and then you can fine tune it. and then send it through cloud directly. So now cloud, the only difference is on MLS, I find my comps and then I pull those and have to manually input the numbers into Cloud CMA, but I like the report through Cloud CMA. I love the layout. I love the information that the report includes. I like that it's got a little bit more information that I think is a little bit easier to digest for my clients. So and honestly, it's really about the layout. But yeah, I use both interchangeably.
Lauren, I see your hand up. Did you want to comment?
Yeah, I'm actually right aligned with Shaston for the reason why I really like using Cloud CMA. It is still in MLS PIN, the Massachusetts MLS for use, which is super easy. It's user friendly. And my favorite part is the visual appeal of the report that you get back and the ability to send it. You can send it as almost like a website looking thing that users can use, that the sellers can use for looking at the information. It's pretty, which is really what it comes down to. As long as you get in there and fine tune and don't just rely on the quick and dirty option that they have, it's pretty.
Anybody else want to comment on the difference between cloud and RPR if you're using it? KB.
One more, sorry, I
Oh,
didn't
go
see
ahead,
KB's
Shaston.
hand.
Go ahead, Shaston.
So just one more point on the Cloud CMA. I know with the RPR, and maybe I haven't found the adjustment on this yet, but on a Cloud CMA, I actually use when you're doing the comp stuff, it gives you the option to do a range for price that would be reflected on the report versus an actual price that the system itself generates, or you can actually just type in a number manually. So I like that feature a little bit too, that you can really kind of customize it on that bottom page where it shows the exact value that it's estimating your home at.
Cool. And I think the new beta that they just rolled out, and this just rolled out a couple of months ago. I just been watching some of the, they've got some longer 6-7 minute overviews, and then they ran some YouTube shorts on it. And I think you might be able to do the override now on the new beta. So I would highly encourage you guys, check out RPR. We're paying our dues. It's got a nice little app. You can run some quick reports. So definitely check it out. KB, did you want to add something?
Yeah, I mean, I think I actually just did an RPR report last night for a past client who's going to be selling. And I've always been a cloud CMA girl. I think it's just because it's a little more old school and it was what I was used to. But I've always liked the RPR printed versions better because, my opinion, I think they're prettier. And I think they just are really well organized. But when I was playing with it last night, you can definitely make adjustments and you can adjust pricing if you need to on your last page. The one thing that it doesn't have that I really do like that I wasn't able to find, and if it's there, I would love to know where it is the seller net sheet, because the cloud CMA at the end, it does allow you to pre-fill a seller net sheet so that you have the document right there in your report. I mean, we do have one available in our Google sites, but I just think that's a tool that really you should be able to have. And I'm assuming it's got to be in there somewhere. I just wasn't able to find it. But other than that, I was a cloud CMA girl, and I'm pretty sure with that. I mean, I did it yesterday and I didn't know they had any updates, and I was able to do everything that I was ever able to do in cloud. So
Yeah, I'm almost positive I saw the seller net sheet as an option of a report that you could generate. So I think you might have to just go to the report section and you should be able to pick seller net sheet. So yeah, I mean, it's come a long way since the last time I took a look at it. So I figured I'd bring it up here. Make sure when you're in the report section at the bottom, there is an option to go to the beta reports. So make sure you're clicking on that beta button. It doesn't automatically kind of default to that. So cool. Well, if anybody plays around with it and wants to share a little bit of, hey, I was liking Cloud CMA for this, but RPR's got this, and give us some feedback. I think, having a good market analysis tool that you can count on that looks really good is really, really important for us, and something that you guys can generate really quickly. So As we always do, let me get the available training for today up on the screen, and we will finish with that. So 11 o'clock this morning, we got the Investor Agent Playbook, how to win at open houses. At noon, Team Cookbook Roundtable. We'll have to take a look at that. We might come back to that one. Strategies to boost your team's productivity and drive results if you're running a team. Door knocking it out of the park at 2 o'clock. 5 daily targets at 3. And then succeeding in a new market. So if you're new to the market that you're trying to sell in, I would take a look at that one. Let's see what this Team Cookbook is all about. Unlock the recipe for success with Team Cookbook Roundtable. Eager to start and grow a winning team. So this is maybe for people that are looking to start a team. Pretty interesting. So, well, good topics today. Appreciate you guys coming with some energy and sharing. And I think the CMA stuff is so critical. So I'm glad we got to dive into that a little bit today. So go have yourselves an amazing Wednesday. We'll be right back here to do it again tomorrow morning. Take care.